Right. Hey guys. Capricorn King here. My YouTube label. Capricorn King. Yeah. So, this channel is the antithesis to egocentric propensities and ways of being. So my name may seem like that is opposing that, but it's just my star sign, and you are the king, it is the king of your reality, your expression. But transcendent, again, must reiterate, to your ego, just automated. So this is what this video is actually about, things just being of an automated state, and we will begin. So, nice tea. So let's begin with sorry, just looking at my camera time. This reality is automated, okay? So it's fashioned by an unseen dimensional reality that we are not here exposed to. It seems like it is covert, like it's operating implicit in everything, and it is. And we are just like fractal effects of what it's doing. So just get this the right way around. So it's like we are fractal effects of what that's doing, fashioned by that plane, mirroring its own self. And this video is about your endeavours. This needs to be said, this needs to be illumined, because we're in a time of the virus, the COVID, the coronavirus, and it's giving us no choice but to reflect. So what it's done is it's put us all in a state of seclusion, solitude. So your soul is in tune to be refined, recrystallized. So it is crystalline instead of carbon-based, which is consumerism. You're a carbon expression, but your luminescence is animate of the carbon, which makes you to be what it is. And it's already a preordained essence of worth. The worth is already in itself, so implicit. But because God is playing a game, like hide and seek, within and of itself, you are the hider and the seeker simultaneously. They are conjugal, they are married, they are linked. It is the linked. So it does itself through that, and then it redeems itself through all them acts. And these acts come in the form of egoic endeavours. But they can be very in their what they impress upon the ego, the impression of them mirroring back is very deceptive, specious. Because we think that there's something to contract within that endeavour. It's not contractual. because it's just a symptomatic effect of already your soul's emanation becoming in the form of something what seems solidified and objectified. No. That objective solidification is not outside of you, and it can just do it because it can. It's an effect of the automated essence which you are fashioned by. It is not what you are, and minus it is not minus anything less than what you already are. It's an additional expression to what you already just are, sufficient of itself. So, and in Islam Sufism we say Kun Fayakun. It's just like a river, it's flowing, it's of itself, there's nothing else, and you are that. But if each endeavour doesn't lead back to the reversion of its ocean, because each of these endeavours, if it's not in the state of retraction, you're externalising and putting tentacles out there that might be feeding off you. As you think you're feeding off something, there could be an exchange where something's extracting positive charge. So you've got to be careful what you invest in and how you invest in it. And I had to learn this the hard way. I really have. And I've crashed and burned many times. And I have friends that have been through it more severely. It depends how early and how much you consolidated and built up the ego, adorned it, made it to be very enticing through its opulence. It depends how far you went with that. And I went there in my early 20s. And this is why I'm having to face the effects now. I think I'm 26 now. I'm not sure, I don't track time no more. Because that's of a lineage illusion. Everything is reciprocal, centripetal. The heart's atomic emanation is doing this, round and back through. They call it phi-based Fibonacci, you heard, familiar? The heart's just doing that. It has to go round back on itself and overlap, but at a stage that's on a successional path, back through itself, to illumine more of itself for what it missed before. So this is what happens. And if you are doing all these endeavours and it doesn't seem quenchable, and then it's becoming more contrived, because and then it starts to convert into a sense of a rapacious kind of propensity, behaviour and attitude, even though it might not be explicit, but you can feel it, or no one knows it because it's not explicit, so they can't see. You need to recede from everything gently, come back and really be in a state of deep contemplation and reflection, because the soul can't be quenched of something it already is. The ego thinks it's getting quenched. It thinks that it's getting some form of sustenance, but it's not. It's a false sense of sustenance. Again, it's deceptive. We all go on these tangential courses, and where does it lead? Into a chasm. Leads into a pit because it's heavily carbonised, and we think that we can revive ourselves through the medium in which it got us into the illusion initially. How can something through the same means and medium revive itself with the thing and the expression and the vibration in which it induced that state? Cannot possibly attenuate itself again through what it created. And this is what we're all going on. I've just started an Instagram account just started one up, and I've seen all this, and you can start to get into that perpetuation, but don't let it to be habitualized, because then the perpetuation cannot be attenuated. It cannot be reversed back to its center. Again, retraction. But it seems like a sub-reality of validity craving, and I've seen it, and I kind of felt myself getting caught up in it, so I had to come back. We've got to be very careful this doesn't happen, because each expression on Instagram, on YouTube, everything that you post, it should be a means in which you already know your end, but it's for the sake of expressing itself to influence. It's an influence, okay? So you already know you have what you are, okay? But that imprint through that emission of what you post, symptoms of that emission, should be posted to help revive others, okay? So something in what you post should enable someone else's deep reflection, contemplation, and to illumine the chasm that they might be in, to invoke itself from itself again. But if you're doing it for, even if it's unconscious, you're not aware, if you're doing it for purposes of validity, it will only, each post will only proliferate more of that vibration of validity, each post that goes on. And that's how you enter the chasm. That's how it just goes round and round itself, but in a circle, not phi based, not Fibonacci, which is moving up, spiraling up, successing. Spiritual succession. If it's not doing that, then you need to reflect and recede. If you feel like this may be happening to you, and this is a familiarized feeling within you, what I'm saying, then you need to recede from it, reflect, and really think. Well, not think, but contemplate on why you might be doing it for that. It's an inward journey. Don't externalize it, especially in a sub-reality like Instagram, Facebook and all this. These sub-realities, they really contract you, they pull you in. You end up drowning in these places, and you don't see through it. There's no transparency. It's very, there's an enigmatic mirage going on within it. You don't know what's what. You can't express yourself to the full extent, and social media, especially a sub-reality, you might only be mirroring an angle of the paradigm of illusion in which you're feeling, and then what you think someone else is feeling through a comment. And all this can just sustain illusion. If you're already insecure and you're posting something and you're externalizing your security, no one can fulfill that. Nobody can fulfill that. Your connection with the divine is the fulfillment of that. It is not in this web. Have you heard? Web? Internet. It's an inter-reality, and it's a net, and it's the web that captures you. You're in captivity of your own self-induced prison of insecurity, which this sustains and preserves itself in that interweb. Right? And once you're in there, it's hard to be liberated from it, extricated. So then you become liberated and free. And only you can do that. If you don't feel it, you've got to sever the link attached to that, of that association of worth. You've got to sever that link and then come back to it when you're more spiritually mature. Because if not, like I said again, it will only proliferate that vibration and create more of it, each post, each comment, each this. I know we're all going through this because I feel it and I see it. How God's way of making us really reflect is what? This virus, this coronas, whatever, COVID. Because it corresponds to an action. A virus is a vibration. When a computer's too packed with things, when I think I'm being bit by a spider. When a computer is too inundated by things, it's gone onto too many websites, it's gone into too many of these realities, it's subdiversed itself, different tangents. You see how these computers are an emulation fashioned by how the mind operates to get you into that captivity, to further solidify it into this carbon reality. So when this happens, it gets a virus, because it's not clean, it's not a conduit of prophetic light. Prophetic is the unseen, the thing that's swirling through all of us, the atomic dance, what we're animate of, to reiterate. This is what we are, and the words don't do no justice to it. These are a fracture of what it actually is. So this virus is slowing us down. Okay, it's slowing us down. It's making us to be in a state of reflection. And there is no way out. You can't contrive anything in accordance and appropriated to your, again, egoic endeavours. You're not able to do this anymore. So people in this time, the ones that illumine more of the soul expression, this will have an augmented effect, and it will be conducive to then your reflection and your perception of life. And the ones that wasn't doing it before, they'll just crash, and they'll go into this I don't know the word for it. They'll go into this state of needing to, this insatiability, but like more amplified, because they're no longer distracted by the economy, the system, the capitalism, the consumerism. That's all been severed. So we're not able to sustain that, and then to reflect through giving that sustenance. What he gives back is repression and denial, because we're distracting ourselves for what we thought our worth was. So the system created a lack of worth, okay, and a state of suggestive deprivation through scarcity, thinking we have to consume, and then we go back to that to repress that feeling, and we just keep going around in the cycle. So now that's been severed, people don't know where to go. There's an insatiable propensity within people that didn't believe of anything higher before, and they are crashing, drinking more, going to the shop, buying alcohol instead of stocking up on food, and supplies that you may need when the other events come, cataclysms. But no, all we know how to do is we have acclimated to only serving the falsity. So now we don't know what to do. But in the end, it doesn't all really matter. The only thing that ever mattered and meant anything through each act was to recalibrate our divine vibration, which is an atomic expression of love, not scientific. Love is what makes it to even be what it is. Now, if every endeavour is to get that provision through that transmission of the act that you are doing, if every endeavour is orientated around that expression, then that's where the worth is. All we have to do is get on. We just have to come together, coalesce the energy through integration. We're already integrated, but we need to re-establish it cognitively to then act for that to become a habitual effect. So then that becomes the reflex, the original reflex. That's all that ever mattered. If not, none of it mattered. It will not mean anything when you're gone, and it only means something if somebody else is reciprocating that correspondent vibration of the illusion. But each time you do that through somebody else, it'll just get stronger and stronger. And then when something happens to make you lose that illusion, the grasp will be tighter and more friction will be induced. Anyways, that's enough for now. I think that was sufficient. Just reflect on what's been said, synthesize it into your being, sense of self, and each endeavour, each person, each interaction, make it to be orientated on this.